Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I'm Lora Rolling and this is part 2 of the Spring Chick Ornament tutorial. This is the Spring Chick Ornament that we are making. It is so cute and colorful. I love it so much. And today we're going to be doing the triangle called 3 Flowers. If you haven't done part 1 yet, that's okay. You can do these out of order. And I'll have that video listed down below with a link in the description. We just have a few materials to get ready, so let's get them listed and then we can get started. Let's go. Okay, so the beads that we're going to use today are all Miyuki Delicas. I have silver lined green, opaque chartreuse AB, silver lined violet, purple lined crystal, opaque delphinium, silver lined light blue, opaque carnation, silver lined bright fuchsia, and silver lined pale pink. I'm going to call this dark green, light green, purple, light purple, blue, light blue, pink, hot pink, and soft pink. We're also going to use some beading thread and a beading needle. I like to use the Eslon Fire in the color Crystal. And I like to use the 4-pound thread. You can also use 6-pound thread. And I also like the size 10 beading needle, and you can use a size 12 if that's what you have. For implements today, we're going to use long nose pliers to hold on to the thread at the end. And we're going to cut our thread with scissors. And then in the beginning, I'm going to use the fire method to end the tail, and I'm going to show you how to do that in today's video. Last but not least, we are going to need a 2.36 inch plastic crafting ornament. We're not actually going to use this in today's video, but to complete the project altogether, you'll want one of these. So I find them at my local hobby store in the 12-pack. Or you can find them individually in my Etsy shop. Alrighty, let's thread our needle with 3 feet of thread and then we can get started. So I have my needle threaded and I'm going to pick up my first 3 beads. I'm going to pick up 1 pink bead, 1 dark green, and 1 pink. Then I'm going to take all 3 beads and I'm going to slide them down to the bottom of the thread, and I'm going to leave about a 6-inch tail. Now I'm going to make a square knot, which means I'm going to cross over and pull the tail through. And then I'm going to cross over on top and pull the tail through. You have what looks like a little snowman. I'm going to put 2 fingers in the bottom loop where the beads are, and I'm going to tighten the top loop into a knot. Then I'm going to take my tail thread, and I'm not going to touch it to the flame. I'm just going to get it super close. And what that's going to do is it's going to melt it into the teensiest little bead or knot. So now I have my fingers in the loop and I'm going to pull on the long thread while twisting the loop until that tail knot touches the long thread. And it'll look like this. So now I'm going to take my thumbnail and just pull that knot down to the beads. And I'm going to try to get the knot closer to one of the pink beads and further away from the other one. So now we have this little triangle of beads. I'm going to pick up 2 more beads. Let's pick up 2 pink beads. And it looks like we're coming out of this pink bead right here. So we're going to sew through the one that's furthest away from the thread. And that way it's going to make it easier for those 2 new beads to sit right on top of the first 2 pink beads. Just like that. Now let's pick up 1 hot pink bead and 1 light green. And we're coming out of the pink bead. Let's sew through the dark green bead. Making sure those beads sit right on top of the others. Now let's pick up 1 light green and 1 hot pink. Coming out of the green bead, we're going to sew through the 2 pink beads. Each time we sew through 2 beads, that means that we're stepping up and we're ready to start the next row. So we've already completed the first 2 rows. We're now starting row number 3. Let's start by picking up 2 pink beads. We're coming out of this bead. Let's sew through the next bead. Now let's pick up 1 pink bead. And we're coming out of this bead. You'll notice that we have the bead right below it. That's called our down bead. It's kind of set down. And then the next bead is sticking up. That's called our up bead. So we're going to skip the down bead and sew through the up bead. Just like that. Now let's pick up 2 light green beads and sew through the next bead. Let's pick up 1 dark green bead. We're skipping the down bead. We're going to sew through the up bead. I turn my work as I go, making it easier for me to sew. Alrighty, let's pick up 2 light green beads and sew through the next. And our last bead in this row is 1 pink bead. We're coming out of this bead, we're going to skip the down bead, and we're going to sew through the up bead and the bead right below that one. So we're sewing through 2 beads, which means we are stepping up, and we are now ready to start row number 4. Let's start by picking up 2 pink beads and sewing through the next. Pick up 1 pink bead and sew through the next. Pick up 1 hot pink bead and sew through the next. Turning my work. Let's pick up 2 light green beads. One light green. Oops. One light green. 2 light green, one hot pink, one pink, and we'll sew through the next 2 beads, completing that row. And now we're ready to start row number 5. Let's pick up 2 pink beads, one pink, one pink, one light green, turning. Each time I get to a corner of the triangle, we add 2 beads. So let's add 2 light green, one purple, one dark green, one blue, at the corner we'll add 2 light green, one light green, one pink, and one pink. This is our last bead in the row, so let's sew through 2 beads. And now we're ready to start row number 6. Let's start with 2 pink beads, one hot pink, one pink, one hot pink, one light green, two purple, one purple, one light green, one light green, one blue, two blue, one light green, one hot pink, one pink, one hot pink. And this is our last bead in the row, so let's sew through 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 7. Let's start with 2 hot pink beads this time. 1 hot pink, 1 pink, 1 pink, oops, 1 light green, 1 light green, at the corner we'll pick up 1 purple and 1 light purple. One purple, one purple, one dark green, one blue, one blue, one light blue, and one blue, one light green, one light green, one pink, one pink, and our last bead in this row is 1 hot pink. We'll sew through 2 beads. And now we get to start row number 8. Let's start with 2 soft pink beads. One hot pink, one pink, one pink, one hot pink, one light green, one light green. At the corner, we'll pick up 1 purple and 1 light purple. One light purple, one light purple, one light green, one light green, one light blue, one light blue, at the corner we'll pick up 1 light blue and 1 blue. One light green, one light green, one hot pink, 1 pink, one pink, and 1 hot pink. This is the last bead of this row, so let's sew through 2 beads. And now we can start row number 9. If you'll notice, I am going off of a pattern, and that pattern you can download and instantly print out. It's listed as a downloadable printable pattern on my Etsy shop. So you can do that, and that way you don't have to follow along. Maybe if the speed is too fast for you or you get confused watching the videos, this is a good way to use the videos to double check, but to also have your pattern in front of you. So go ahead and grab your pattern, or if you don't need it, then just follow along with the video, whatever works best for you. But I like that I have that pattern there available in case you want it, in case you need it. Alrighty, let's start row number 9 with 2 soft pink, one soft pink, one hot pink, one pink, one hot pink, one light green, one light green, one light green, two light purples, one light purple, one light purple, one purple, one dark green, one blue, one light blue, one light blue, on the corner we'll add 2 light blue, one light green, one light green, one light green, one hot pink, one pink, one hot pink, and one soft pink. Let's sew through 2 beads, stepping up to row number 10. Let's start with 2 soft pink, one soft pink, one soft pink, one pink, one hot pink, oops, 1 light green, one light green, one light green, one purple. We're at the corner. Let's add one purple and one light purple. One light purple. One light purple. One light purple. I see a fuzzy. There we go. One light green. One light green. One light blue. One light blue. One light blue. At the corner, one light blue and one blue. One blue. One light green. One light green. One light green. One hot pink. One pink. One soft pink. And one soft pink. Sewing through 2 beads. And now we're ready to start row number 11. Let's start with 2 soft pink. One soft pink. One soft pink. One hot pink. One hot pink. One light green. One light green. One light green. One light green. One purple. At the corner, one light green and one purple. One light purple. One light purple. One light purple. One purple. one dark green, one blue, one light blue, one light blue, one light blue, one blue, and one light green. One blue, almost picked up two. We just need one. One light green, one light green, one light green, one light green, one hot pink, one hot pink, one soft pink, and one soft pink. Sewing through the last two beads, and now we are ready to start row number 12. Question of the day. This is the 2025 Easter ornament that we are doing. The theme is Easter. That's why it's a spring chick. And I'm just wondering, are you ready for Easter? Are you all decorated? And is the Easter Bunny ready to come? Or do you not celebrate? Or let me know if you're ready or not down in the comments. I love to hear from you. Alrighty, let's start row 12 with two soft pink, one soft pink, one soft pink, one soft pink, one hot pink, one soft pink, one light green, one light green, one light green, one purple, one light green, two light green, one purple. I need to pull my beads closer. There we go. They were getting too far away from me. One light purple, one light purple, one purple, one light green, one light green, one blue, 1 light blue, 1 light blue, 1 blue, 2 light green, 1 light green, 1 blue, 'I love these little point beads. I don't know why. It just makes the structure of the flower, right? I just love them. It's the little things that make me happy. 1 light green, 1 light green, 1 light green, 1 soft pink, 1 hot pink, 1 soft pink, 1 soft pink, and 1 soft pink. Sewing through 2 beads. And now we've completed 12 rows of beads. If this is the first triangle that you've done with me, we now get to add what I call connection rows. So some sides are going to have connector beads and some are not. In this case, this side is not going to have connector beads, but the bottom and this left side are going to have the connector beads. So each of our corners gets a point bead to cap it off. So we're going to start with 1 S bead, capping off that corner, making it into a little point. And now what we're going to do is I'm just going to simply flip over my triangle so that it's easier for me to hide my thread. I'm going to sew through all the beads in this quadrant. I'm going to follow the quadrant line, okay? But you don't have to do that. You can just grab any old bead as long as your thread isn't showing, and we're going to end up in this corner bead right here. Okay, I'm almost at the corner. Sewing through each bead, hiding my thread so you can't see my thread at all. Now I am coming through this last corner bead. We're going to add 1 light green bead to this corner, capping it off, making it a point. And now we're going to add connector beads to this bottom row. So let's start with 1 light green, 1 purple, 1 purple, 1 purple, 1 light green, 1 dark green, 1 light green, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 blue, 1 light green, And now we are at a corner again. So let's pick up one light green and cap that corner so it turns into a point. And now let's pick up one light green one light green, one light green, one light green, one light green, one soft pink, 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 and one soft pink. And I happened to catch that corner bead too. That's okay, because we're going to sew through the corner bead as well. And now what we're going to do, we've added all our connector beads. We're going to just hide our thread and we're going to secure these last few beads that we put on by hiding our thread and weaving at the same time. So let's just sew through 6 beads. I happened to catch 2 at that point. So 1, 2, 3, 4. You can sew them 1 at a time or 2 at a time, whatever you want. 5, 6, and sew up 1. Well, I sewed up 2 more. Doesn't really matter. I just like to sew up these corner beads, these edge beads of the quadrant. There's just a little more room, I guess, for you to get your needle in. Okay, so we're coming out of this bead. We're going to zigzag now. We're going to sew down the bead right next to that one. And then we're going to sew up the bead next to the one we're coming out of now. So that's a little zigzag. Now I'm just going to sew up 2 more beads, 1 and 2, and then I'm going to zigzag again. We're coming out of the top of this bead. We're going to sew down the bead right next to it. We're going to sew up the bead right next to that one. Then sew up 2 more beads, 1, 2, and we are ready to cut our thread. We know that these beads are now super secure because we zigzagged and our thread is not going to loosen up at all. So let's grab our thread with the needle nose pliers and put our scissors as close to the bead as possible without cutting the bead. We're going to just cut that thread. Alrighty. You have completed your 3 flowers triangle. You only need 5 of these, so go ahead and do this 4 more times, and I will see you in a second. That was so much fun. Thank you so much for being here with me today and beading along with me. Remember to like and subscribe and hit that bell button so you're notified when the next video comes out. I can't wait to see you there. Thanks for watching.